What is up, fellow Guardians? My name is Noodle, and welcome to another exotic weapon review. Now, a few days ago I released my first ever YouTube video where I reviewed the Jade Rabbit Scout Rifle. If you guys haven't seen that video, I'm going to leave a link in the description below so you guys can check that out as well. In this series, we're going to be taking a look at some of the new exotic weapons and seeing how they perform in the Crucible. In today's video, we're going to be checking out the Titan exclusive auto rifle, the Fabian Strategy. Now, I'm not going to lie, when I first heard about this auto rifle, I was hella excited. And if you're wondering why, it's because I'm a bit of a sucker for ancient history, and I remember the name from one of the Roman history courses I took. So I did a little bit of research and I was able to confirm that the name is derived from ancient Rome.
Oh, that's so cool.
And if you guys are interested, the name is from the Roman dictator Quintus Fabius Maximus Verrucosus, who at that time was tasked with defeating the great Carthaginian general Hannibal during the Second Punic War. Now, the Roman army had already suffered a few crushing defeats at the hands of Hannibal, who continued to prove himself to be the superior tactician against any general Rome would throw at him. Fabius Maximus knew it was not in his best interest to meet Hannibal in open battle, so instead he opted to have his forces harass the enemy through lighter skirmishes, in hopes that he could wear the Carthaginians down through a war of attrition, hence the name Fabian Strategy. So let's start off by addressing how you actually acquire this weapon. Like the other two class exclusive primaries, the Fabian Strategy is awarded to you at the end of a quest chain. The first thing you're going to want to do is to get to rank 3 with the gunsmith. And upon re-entry to the tower, the gunsmith should have a quest. Or what the fuck?
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god. Stop fucking lying. Always lying to me. Why? You lying so much. Why? You making it hard for me.
Turns out you actually need to finish the second Back in the Saddle quest first before he gives you the one for the exotic weapon. Now, once you have the new Back in the Saddle quest, the next steps are pretty simple. The first step has you getting 100 auto rifle kills with primary telemetry consumed. After that, he's going to want you to salvage parts by dismantling 10 rare or legendary auto rifles. Personally, I dismantled 2 legendary auto rifles, which gave me 5 parts each, which completed the quest. And after that, you're going to speak with the gunsmith one more time, and he rewards you with the Fabian Strategy. Now, let's take a quick look at a fully upgraded Fabian Strategy. The in-game description reads, "Wait for enemy to make a mistake. Die. Stand by for ghost resurrection. Repeat as necessary." If we take a look at its base stats, this weapon falls under the high fire rate, low impact archetype. Great. Thankfully, the magazine size is pretty generous at 40 rounds. Now let's take a look at its perks. The first one that's immediately unlocked is Crowd Control. And even though Crowd Control is not an exotic perk, it is one of the more favored perks in the game. Down the first column, we have Smooth Ballistics, CQB Ballistics, and Linear Compensator. In column 2, we have Life Support. After that, on the third column, we have Extended Mags, Lightweight, and Small Bore. This column is a bit of a toss-up. Both Extended Mags and Small Bore are useful, though if you're using the gun in PvP, go with Small Bore, as the increased range and stability will probably prove more useful than having more shots in your magazine. And lastly, on the fourth column, we have Front Lines. This perk is exclusive to the Fabian Strategy. It reads, "This weapon has increased handling, stability, and rate of fire when enemies are close." Now, I know you're probably thinking, wow, this gun must be pretty good with all them perks. Well, let's find out. Here I have some highlights from a few matches that I played using the Fabian Strategy.
Attention! Fabian Stapler is highly effective at rapidly propelling staples towards enemy guardians. In the event that you encounter hacking guardians using normal weapons, it is recommended that you adhere to these following instructions.
Hey, aren't these supposed to be highlights? As you guys can see, the Hawk Moon is still a phenomenal weapon, and it still handles exceptionally well in a wide range of engagements. And considering the nerf to hand cannons prior to the Taken King, the Hawkmoon is arguably the only year 1 exotic hand cannon that is not a shadow of its former self. With the exception of it now not being able to challenge scout rifles and snipers in long-range engagements, it is nice to see that Bungie did not completely degrade this weapon before Xbox users could finally get their hands on it. And if anything, with the weapon rebalancing, the Hawkmoon actually feels better in my hands today than it did in year 1. As you guys can see, in this clip, I managed to down 5 guard heat and...
not of the Hawkmoon, you retard.
Alright, fine.
God damn it.
Here are some clips of me using the Fabian strategy in PvP, and honestly, if I only showed you guys these clips, you'd probably get the impression that this is actually a pretty good gun, when in reality, this weapon feels severely underpowered when compared to any top or mid-tier primary. You're likely to find yourself being outgunned in most one-on-one engagements against most other weapons, which is why I wanted to show these highlights last. And honestly guys, I really wanted to like this weapon, even though generally auto rifles are the last weapon type I would ever take with me to the Crucible. I honestly forced myself to play about a dozen matches with this weapon, hoping that I could find a niche for this gun. And even though there are moments of brilliance, the Fabian strategy is just too inconsistent to be a reliable choice in the Crucible. The reality is this weapon takes up your one and only exotic weapon slot, yet it's so underwhelming it feels like you're shooting a rare or legendary weapon. Now, if you guys are hellbent on using the Fabian strategy in the Crucible, I would recommend a more aggressive playstyle. Try your best to push the pace and keep all your engagements at a minimal distance. And because of that, I would further recommend that you pair it with either a shotgun or a fusion rifle. Now, I completely understand and agree with the fact that this weapon cannot be exceptional, considering it's a Titan exclusive weapon. But I suppose where I'm most disappointed is how underwhelming its front lines perk is. I can honestly say I've never seen the perk activate, not even once while using this weapon. Now I don't know if that's due to the fact that it's bugged or it's really that underwhelming, but potentially the weapon would be that much more enjoyable if Bungie took a second look at the perk. Anyways guys, that concludes my review of the Fabian strategy. Honestly, in the context of PvE, I've actually had fun using this weapon. However, in PvP, unless you enjoy getting ulcers, I would highly recommend that you shy away from this weapon, unless Bungie revamps the front lines perk. So if you guys did like the video or found it useful, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Noodle out!